This is what happens.
Shalom, shalom. This is Kapari, aka Pops, at GMS Chicago, with another sit down. Before I get started, though, like always, I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rikakodash, to the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York, Elder Bishop out of Connecticut. I want to send double honors because they do well. For the brethren around the world pushing this truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the scriptures, correctly breaking down.
When a bison meets a black man from America. Somebody look at this. He told Rob.
Look, this is funny how it won't let me. Okay, let me back this up. Let's try this again. This is Kapari, aka Pops, out of GMS Chicago, with another sit down. Before I get started, though, like always, I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rikakodash. To the apostles and the elders of GMS out of New York, the elder bishops out of Connecticut, I want to send double honors because they do well. For the brethren around the world pushing this truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the scriptures, correctly break it down, the prophecies, and the interaction with the people on the planet, I send a hearty shalom. For the hopeful elect, I hope this is edifying. For the awkward, the few, and the true, this listen to sincerity and charity, keep doing so. But for the scorn and scoffing, reprobate, 2/3 Israelites and 17 other nations who are in the midst of Jacob's trouble, it is getting worse, and it is going to get worse, and that is all Bible prophecy. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Okay, I'm not going to profit anything on this when I'm using this information or this scenery here and what's being said. Okay, to do this. So with that, like I said, and this voice doesn't match this face, so I think he's just lip syncing what appears to be a female in the background speaking. I'm not sure, but that's what it appears to be. So with that being said, I'm going to read this. I want to pull this scripture up first, and then I'm going to get this thing. This is Job. See, look at this. Look at this. I had it where I wanted to start at, and it jumped to something else. Wow. Job 5:22-23. It's crazy. Okay, but anyway, I know I put in Job 5:22 and 23, but it don't even want to go back down there to it. Okay, Job 5:22. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Okay? That's a future prophecy. Okay? That at one point in time we had going, especially for the natives that was here. Okay, the so-called natives that was here. They understood that. They understood the buffalo, the bison, and how to move around and how to use them for what they was made for at that moment and at that time, and this, that, and other. Then this Western Asian man, which is call himself the Europeans or whatnot, Renaissance and all the other kind of stuff, came over here and just massacred the scenario. But anyway, was never at that. And the reason I'm doing this is because I had just seen not that long ago, a few days back, where this bison was out here, and he was, I don't know if it was at Yellowstone or not, but I know when I went to Fermilab, which was out here in Batavia, we rode around, and they had bison even out there. You know, that's where the particle accelerator is at. One of the particle accelerators that's here in the States is at, and this, that, and other. And they had bison out there, and the whole deal. And when I rode through there, I had the window down. I was looking at them, and they was just cool and relaxed. They was cool and relaxed with me rolling through there and whatnot. I was on the passenger seat. My girl was driving through. I said, "What is that back there?" She pulled in there. We rolled back through there and whatnot. We was able to ride in and ride around. And they had some bunkers. Like I used to have to play security on when I was in the Air Force and this, that. I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?" Because I recognized what those was. I used to have to get out and shake the locks on some of this stuff. So I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, this is crazy." But anyway, long story short, it was what it was. But them bison didn't have no problem with me sitting there with the window down, laid back in the seat, looking at them doing what they was doing. None of them tried to approach the car. We went through there real slow. None of them tried to approach the car and do any damage or anything of that nature. So that's what reminded me of what I saw here. Okay, so it says, "For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee." Like I said, them big things that had no problem with me. But and they don't seem like they gonna have a problem with this guy here either. So I'm gonna let this play, and then we go from there.
This is what happens when a bison meets a black man from America. Somebody look at this. He chose right up on him. Might be a female.
Beast, bro.
I want one. Where's Bo at?
Alright, bro.
Just dapped him up. Look at that. This is what happens.
Okay, and that was almost basically the same thing. Like I said, we rolled by one just like that. Motherfucker didn't have no problem with me. I kind of looked at him. He looked at me. I was like, "Okay, all right, big money," and we kept rolling. Now, the comments is what made me look at this and kind of giggle and laugh, and what made that scripture actually jump out at me, because I went to the comments and I saw this. The bison knows who we are. The animals are living in harmony with us again. Wasn't that Job 5 and 22 and 23 I just read? Animals can read calm spirits more than us, bro. They even rubbed up against the car like he was accepting them to be into the herd. He felt safe. Bison was like, "Yeah, they do us the same way." Because the buffalo, the bison, this, that, and other, yeah, that's exactly what they did. They killed over 1 million of these things out there on the plains and whatnot from railroad tracks and this, that, and other, trying to slaughter off the so-called natives. Gadite, Reuben, this, that, and other, blah, 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 the whole deal. And then before that, still, bison whisper, bison, "Hello, buffalo soldier." The bison said, "They're not extinct." Yeah, we're not extinct and they're not either. He like, "My folks told me all y'all was gone. You're a miracle, G." It's called respect. The guy respected the bison. The bison recognized that. The bison was like, "They tried to exterminate us. They tried to exterminate us both after their arrival, but we're still here." Bison like, "Yo, you native, bro. Sweetie, brown people are engraved in bison memory. The bison wasn't aggressive or anything. Yep, they know us." Yeah, because like I said, I watched the bison on here. White people out there taking pictures. "Oh, look at that, look at this," and this. And now bison lost it. Basically started banging up the truck, beat the hell out of the car, banged it up, tore it up. You thought he was in like a 3-car pileup by the time that bison got through with him. The buffalo recognized that they both are considered endangered species and that they still standing. He had to bow down and give thanks. Notice the bison had no intentions to send the guy's brothers to heaven, unlike those other guys. And when I got there, that's when I said, "Yep, that's the spirit. That's the spirit." And when I got to that comment, that's what made me say, "Yeah, let me do a sit down on this." Okay, So now with that, and that having been said, let me get to these scriptures. Oh, go here first. Matthew 24. Let's see, 21, 22. Matthew 24, starting at 21. Then shall there be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be. That's the time of Jacob's trouble that we're coming into. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. This man is in charge, that the animals are not in league with, that the trees are not in league with. And that's a scripture that I hadn't even thought of, but like I said, I'll put that in there. Let me put a quick note here so I can remember that by the end. Okay, so I can pull it up at the end. For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So for the elect's sake, because this man here, this Edomite, look at the contamination. GMO foods, because he can't get the full yield of the planet, because he doesn't observe the laws that was given to the Israelites. 6 years you shall be able to farm and work a land. On that 7th year, you let that land rest. You don't mix it with anything else, whatever you're growing on that is what you grow on that. In that 7th year, you don't touch anything that comes up, okay? Because when you pour something down, when you pick something, you pull something up, however you're doing it, seeds are being left inside that ground, and it's going to grow the next year. Whatever's being there is going to grow, and when it grows, you don't touch it. And what does that do? This gets a chance to come to full filtration. Break down, decay, the seeds go back into the ground, okay? The minerals that came from that plant, that food, vegetable, whatever it was, goes back into the ground. Fruit, vegetable, whatever it was, goes back into the ground. And that 8th year, when that stuff is coming up, guess what? It done took all the minerals and whatnot from that 7th year and replenished the soil. So when it goes to grow for that 8th year, the soil isn't depleted. All the minerals that came up, that went back into the soil, gets to go back into that plant, that vegetable, that fruit that was on that, and grow big. That's why I said it took 2 strong men to carry a cluster of grapes. And now that's not the issue. So this is what it is. Okay? But this man here, I'm gonna jump down to 24. Okay, I'm gonna jump down to 24 and read this. For there shall arise false Christs, or Mashiachs, and false prophets, and they shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Okay, but they won't be able to. They won't be able to fool the very elect. Okay, so if somebody goes, they go not being part of the very elect. Because the very elect is going to understand that if they have to go into death, they'd rather do that than follow this Edomites' edicts and rules and everything else that's here. When it comes to that part of it, and it all boils down to Revelation 13 and 16, accepting or not accepting it, the elect knows. We don't do that. We don't do that. Okay? We're not taking the MOTB. We're not taking that. We're not taking it. And this, that, and other. Decreed by Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Father, He is, He exists, He be. And His Son, Yahweh Shai. He saves. Okay? We don't do that. We don't take that. And if you're not preaching those names and understanding that, that decree of Revelation 13 and 16, okay, in the 14th chapter as well, Neuralinks and all this other kind of stuff that you see on the market now, then you're absolutely blinded and you're not, this is not meant for you in the first place, okay? Because like I said, you know, let me go here. Because see, this man is designed to do something. This man's job was put here on earth to do something. And he's done it, okay? He's done it. He's done it well, okay? John 10 and 10, the thief, he's the thief. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. To steal, to kill, and destroy. And that's this so-called white man, Caucasian man, that is known as Esau Edom of the scriptures, that put over a covering cast on everybody and don't want it to be known. Don't want it to be known. He don't want nobody to know who he is. So he put up all these other false windows and whatnot through the looking glass, through the different looking glasses per se, trying to not be that person. But now he's been revealed and the world is seeing him now. And so this Edomite rulership, manifest destiny and everything else that was here in America that now has them so embarrassed that they don't even want to face American slavery in the public school systems and whatnot. They want to call it critical race theory, and they don't even teach it in the schools now. As they say, why? Because I'm butchering it, but they bemoan basically a evil father. Okay. They don't want to be responsible for the sins that their fathers have committed, not understanding that they absolutely going to be that. They the killers. They the thief. And guess what a thief needs? A thief needs weaponry and uses weaponry to take what he wants. And let me show you when that was given to who y'all ignorantly want to call the white man. This is Genesis 27, 38. Go read it through 41. Genesis 27. Okay, Genesis. And Esau, Idumea. Okay. Esau. Okay, and if you go back to where Cain killed Abel, and the Lord kicked him out of the garden, and he marked him. He marked him, and since everybody came from the ground and everybody was dark skinned, what was the mark? It was leprosy. That's in Leviticus. Okay, you can go in there and find that. I think that's in like the 13th chapter or so. You can go and find that there. Okay? Yeah, you can go in Leviticus, the 13th chapter or so, like 1330, 1343, right around there, and read, and you will see. Blonde hair, blue eyes, all this other kind of shit, all that is a curse. It's a leprosy. So, hey, guess what? They're figuring it out, though. They're figuring it out now. Why? Hey, when all that stuff was burning, when all that sun was exposing over there in Eurasia, Western Asia, as it really is, guess what was going on? The motherfuckers over there burning up. Their skin was peeling on their ass. Okay. You're supposed to be the chosen people. How you the chosen people and the biggest form of vitamin D on the planet comes from the sun, and you can't stand out there in it and absorb it. But you're the chosen people. So that tells you those people that's over there in the so-called Middle East now that's ruling with them curls and dressed in all black ain't those people that's supposed to be over there either. But that's a different story. So anyway, so let's go and read this. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered, and that's Yahweh Shai for those who can receive that. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling place shall be the fatness of the earth. All these gated communities and this, that, and other. So even though we're told that we're going to have that in the earlier blessing, Esau was also said that he was going to get it, but he was going to get it while the earth is in wickedness. And he got it right now, and it's at the end of his wickedness. That's why you see these so-called peoples that own the diamond districts and the banks, the Rothschilds, the Oppenheimers, the Bilderbergs, the DuPonts, and the Gettys, these banking empires, and this, that, and other IMF, Federal Reserve, that's now getting ready to switch everything over to this digital, pursuant to Revelation, the 13th chapter, again, the 16th verse, to the end. See, these are those people. They the ones that's calling the shots on it right now. Okay? So he said, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword. So he was given a blessing, a sword. Thou shalt live and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass that when thou have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Guess what? Esau was under subjection under King David, but it got broken because this was written before King David and all the other stuff had happened. So this was a prophecy that had to happen, and it happened in King David's time. Okay? It happened in King David's time. And it happened again. It happened during before the Renaissance, the Dark Ages. You had the Roman Empire, then the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was dark-skinned men ruling that part of it, and they was wicked as jakes too. Okay, so it was what it was. All right. Verse 41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith he blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Didn't Cain slay Abel? See, this is reincarnation. So when these people want to say, it wasn't me, that was my great-great-grandfather that was into that stuff, my great-great-great-grandfather that did that shit to y'all, it wasn't me. Y'all come back every third or fourth generation. All right? So that's what that is. Matter of fact, because y'all don't want to believe that this is a man. So let me show you this. Let me tie this together for you real quick, because I ain't got a whole lot of time. I ain't trying to make this too long. Let me go here. This is Job. Because see, for these so-called Christians and whatnot, they want to think that the Lord battled with Satan and was kicked out and all that other kind of shit. That shit didn't happen. This is Job. So this is well into the scriptures, ain't it? Let's see this though. Job 1. Let me pick it up at about 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. So when was he kicked out then? Okay? And Yahweh said to Satan, whence come thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. And Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Does Job fear power for naught? Has not thou made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. So Satan basically said, you bragging on him, but let me basically put forth your hand. I'm your left-hand hand. I'm the one that does bring all the wickedness into the world per your orders. Let me get at him. I'll show you what he does. I said, okay. And Yahweh said to Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of Yahweh. So he went forth. I got the green light on him. I can smoke his ass. I can't kill him, but I can smoke everything else that's around him. And Satan did just that. Oh, man. But how you know that that's a person? Okay. Don't want to believe it? You don't want to believe that a person is cursed. Like I said, going back to Leviticus, the 13th chapter, can be a curse. Let me go over here in Isaiah and bring it home. And that's going to be the last set of scriptures that I use and whatnot, this, that, and other. So this is Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Let's go to 12. Isaiah 12. Isaiah 14 and 12. Art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? So now we already know we're talking about who. Lucifer is what? Basically, it just means an enlightened one. You got left hand light and right hand light. Left hand light, the Luciferians, the shadow people, okay, the Bohemian Grove people, okay, the Masonic people. That's left hand light, which is real, okay. When Moses confronted Pharaoh, he had magicians and all the little tricks that all the things that came from Moses and his staff. His magicians was able to replicate up to a certain point, and then the Lord said, "Okay, look, we ain't gonna do this all day. You go do this, and they not gonna be able to do it." And I think that's when the flies or whatever, sand became flies or something like that. Anyway, so that being that, what it said. Art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? So how did this man weaken the nations? He dropped Hiroshima and Nagasaki and scared everybody. Nobody wanted to fight with him. Not when he had that hydrogen, the hydrogen killing power that became biblical when he did it. Nagasaki, I think, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I think, whichever one was first. Hiroshima, like 70,000 was instantly killed. And then Nagasaki, I think it was like 100 or so thousand that was instantly killed. Not the radiation poison, just instantly vaporized and killed. Okay? Bingo. So he became biblical in it. What that man say, Oppenheimer, I become I become the angel of death or whatever. Something like that. I'll look that up. Just pull it up. Who was that said that I'll become the angel of death? It'll come up for you. Anyway, so that's for the, okay, so we did weaken the nations. 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit upon the mountain of the congregation in the sides of the north. Who did that? Well, we know that the Edomites started it with Sputnik. So the Russians were the first ones that got up there, but that created that race to get up there into the heavens. And America lied and said they went to the moon. So that became that part of it. Okay, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell to the sides of the pit. That's here in America. I mean, that's here on the planet. They that see thee shall never look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? Now, we started at Lucifer, but now we done broke it back down to a man. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdoms? Okay. So, damn, is this the man? So for those people that don't want to deal with this because of the fact that it's like, man, but that wasn't us, that was this. Watch this. Let's go down to 21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. So you can't get around this, Esau. This is what you did. And everybody that hooked their wagon to you, which is basically the whole world, because it says, who have not gotten of us spoils? What nation hasn't had basically a hand in this, in the Apocrypha, okay? Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. So when this Edomite's taken out of power this time around, when Yahushua comes back, ain't no going back up. Okay, like I said, the beasts of the field are in league with thee. Let's see. Let me pull the scripture up. And I was probably there and wasn't even paying attention. Let's see. Isaiah 14:8. Yeah, I was there. Didn't want any paying attention. My mistake. Hell from beneath is moved. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirs up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from thy thrones all the kings of the nation. Okay. Verse 8, actually. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars and Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no failure is come upon us. Hell from thee. So the trees are even going to be happy when this man is taken out of power. Okay. So I could have just went right back up. But yeah, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirs up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones. They have raised up their thrones to the kings of the nation. But yeah, that ain't one. This is what's happening to this man now. Hell from beneath is moved to meet him. His kingdom is going down. His hell is getting ready to start beginning on earth. Okay? And the trees I even go be, I'm glad this motherfucker's gone. I'm glad this fucking pale skinned motherfucker that will kill everything is gone. So he's being pulled out of power. So yeah, the beasts are going to be in league with us. And they even falling in line, even as we speak. So hey, but hopefully like that's absolutely good. But for the rest of the world, and all the people that done hook their wagon to this Edomite and all his so-called resources, Sodom and Egypt, it's going to be a bad thing. So with that, I hope that that's edifying. I'm sending all praises, honor, and glory again out to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Kakwadash. Hadi Shalom and the Barber Ball. Hadi Shalom for the hopefully elect and the Barber Ball to the rest of the world.